One more aspect of social engineering that I'd like to talk about, and that's the physical aspect. The not necessarily technological types of social engineering and not necessarily prolonged human contact. These are things that happen peripherally. Obviously, dumpster diving, like we see in the picture there, is one of those things. Physical social engineering attacks basically are indirect, and what they want is to gain information through means other than direct or prolonged contact with people. That may involve peripheral contact or very short-term contact with individuals, just to get a little piece of information out of them or to get into somewhere. Now, physical attacks usually involve stealing or gathering information through non-technical means. And again, we're talking dumpster diving, maybe shoulder surfing, or some kind of surveillance. One thing about these non-technical attacks is hackers frequently get other people to execute them. Sometimes people do this unknowingly. Like a hacker will hire some person to go through a dumpster and grab all the information that a company has thrown away and bring it to them. And the person may not know why, they just know that they're getting paid a few bucks to do it. Things of that nature. They may take advantage of poor operational or physical security around an organization, poor operational practices, poor physical security, and so forth. Now let's talk about these physical social engineering attacks a bit more. Most of these physical attacks involve very limited or non-contact situations. The goal is to do this with as little contact as human beings as possible, only when you need to. It's not a real involved, in-depth social engineering attack that requires a lot of planning, information gathering, context, and so forth. The goal is to get information indirectly from an organization based upon the human security deficiencies like throwing documentation away in the dumpster that you shouldn't, or other operational and physical security lapses. Now, one thing a hacker may do is create situations that cause people to have to do things so they can take advantage of a situation, and often causing mayhem or confusion is one of the things that a hacker may rely on. So they may create emergencies, false emergencies, or other distractions to gauge an organization's or a person's response, or get them to do things like get them to evacuate a building, for example, so they can slip in and commit some kind of crime, theft, or access a system. It may involve surveillance or recording conversations between people. Hackers also steal devices or physical objects, maybe badges so they can reproduce them or use them, uniforms, name tags to put on their shirt, for example, to appear to be someone else, to impersonate someone. They also may steal wallets or purses to get identification out of, or as a distraction of a person to get them to do something different while they do something else. A hacker also may steal or acquire physical information. And when I say physical information, I'm talking about information that's not on a disk or a USB stick or on a computer. I'm talking printed materials, photographs, things of that nature. Now, some examples of some physical social engineering attacks, some of these we've mentioned and some of these we haven't. Dumpster diving, obviously, organizations throw stuff away they should not throw away. Phone books, network diagrams, user manuals for new systems. Sometimes they'll throw those away and you can guess what they've just bought. A lot of hackers will actually steal mail. They'll intercept it and steal it so they can get information about a person or an organization. And obviously this violates federal law, so this is serious. If they stoop to this level, they're a serious attacker. They're going to get their goal, no matter what the cost is. Copying printed documents when they get a chance. They may swipe them off a secretary's desk and copy them quickly and put them back if they get the opportunity. Piggybacking or tailgating. That's a frequent physical social engineering attack because they tailgate behind someone, or they pretend to have a lot of boxes in their hands and pretend that they can't get in the door. So someone very nicely opens the door and lets them in. As I mentioned before, creating an emergency situation like a fire alarm, for example. If you pull the fire alarm, people are going to evacuate. And frequently, in that type of situation, security is secondary. Doors are left open so people can evacuate. So an attacker can slip right in without worrying about triggering an alarm. A bomb threat, for example, also might create an emergency situation where people have to evacuate the premises for a long period of time. That would give the attacker time to do some things that maybe no one's there to watch, like break into a system, for example. Attackers could also cause non-innocuous situations like a car accident, maybe bumping into a car in a parking lot, causing a person to have to get out and get their insurance paperwork out, call the police, and do a report. They may create low-level distractions like stealing a purse or causing someone to lose their wallet or something like that. They may use fake badges and uniforms to get into a place so they can get physical access. They also may steal phones, tablets, or laptops. A, hoping to get information off of them, but B, just so that the person won't have them. That could be denying them information that they need to do their job. You also may see people in your parking lot taking pictures and video. That's discreet surveillance. Hopefully, if it's discreet enough for the hacker, they won't get caught. Eavesdropping. This could be as simple as listening in on a conversation at a restaurant, or it could even mean using these little hidden cameras or microphones that we see these days in ink pens and eyeglasses. Also could mean shoulder surfing, walking behind someone in an internet cafe or as they're using their laptop in a coffee shop, for example. A lot of attackers will also pull the old trick of dropping a USB stick or a disk in a company's parking lot. People find it, pick it up, take it inside, and obviously they naturally stick it in their computer to see what it has on it, and it has malware on it, something the user doesn't see or detect until it's too late. So all of these physical social engineering attacks can be used to get information and get people to do what they want them to do. And they're part of the whole social engineering methodology we've talked about up until this point.